Hey guys, today we're going to talk about the Mtar. As you can see, we're using it in the gameplay today. Gold camo, faux show. So to start off with, this is going to be basically my opinion on the weapon and what weapon equipment and the attachments and perks, what would work best with it, and how I think you can improve with this gun and play a lot better and improve those kill streaks. So to start with, we're going to talk about the attachments. Basically, on this gun I'm using foregrip, laser sight, and a silencer. So foregrip is basically just to reduce the recoil. Even though this gun has low recoil anyway, I still think that this gun, if you can improve it one little bit, then that is fantastic. If you're going to improve it a bit, then you might as well. Same with the laser sight. The bullet spread from hip fire is really low anyway, but if you can improve it a little bit more, then I don't see why you shouldn't use that. Finally, silencer. This is key for this weapon. It is the only gun I ever use a silencer with, really, on this, unless I have to if I'm playing search. But this is the only weapon I use it for, like, domination, demolition, those sort of game modes. Mainly because I can't see much difference in the damage you take, well, what you give to the enemy from using it to not using it. On paper it says that it's 30. It decreases damage by 30% when using a silencer, but I don't see that myself. Personally, I still find that the weapon does fantastic amount of damage with the silencer. So that is definitely something you should pick up and use. It is by far the only weapon that I think works fantastically with a silencer, so give that one a try. Next we have the perks I'm using. We have Ghost, Scavenger or Toughness, and then Engineer. And to start with, I'll talk about the Ghost. If you're using a silencer, you're going to want to use Ghost anyway. What's the point using a silencer to keep you off the map if you're not using Ghosts to keep you off the minimap? It doesn't really make much sense, so you kind of want to use those two together to stay off the radar, so you can be a bit more stealthy, a bit more ninja-like. It's definitely something you should think about using. I know people moan, say it's newbie, but if it's newbie and it makes you better at the game, who cares? Next we have Scavenger or Toughness. This one I had a bit of trouble with. I was using this gun for a while, and I was just like, well, what perks really work well for it? To start with, I was using Toughness, and I was doing really well with it. I was winning all these gunfights, but the only problem was I was running out of bullets very, very quickly, and I was running around the map screaming at my teammates, saying, where the hell's another gun? Need another gun. I got no bullets. So I switched that up and I put Scavenger on, and I was like, oh, this could work if I use Scavenger. But then I found out I was losing so many gunfights, and I was just like, what the hell's going wrong? So I kind of put it down to not having Toughness. I must have been getting shot so many times by these people and just winning the gunfights purely because I had Toughness on. This is kind of a pain, obviously, because you run out of bullets, and then you're kind of looking for a weapon, as I don't have a secondary, which I'll come on to in a bit. So you can kind of chop and change between the two, depending on how you want to play and how you want to run things. But in my opinion, Toughness is definitely the way forward, and you just kind of have to hope and pray that there's a gun close by that you can steal from a dead body. Finally, we have Engineer. Engineer is something I will always use. I'll either use Flat Jacket or Engineer. I will not use them both together. It kind of seems a bit pointless because Flat Jacket kind of, explosive damage, so you don't really need to see that equipment unless they've got like 25 pieces of equipment sat on the floor in front of you. Then you are going to die. You're not going to die from one hit from a claymore. So if you're not using Flat Jacket, then you want Engineer.
Let's go.
Steal these equipment through the wall, so you can avoid them and plan your route accordingly. Basically, that's how I see it. Then we have round 2 equipment. On here, I'm running Semtex and Black Hat. Semtex, I don't really know why I'm using it. I just prefer the fact that it's quicker to blow up than a claymore, quicker to blow up than a frag grenade. And the fact I want to get a title for it, so it's really just down to personal preference for equipment. Black Hat, I'm using, obviously I'm running Engineer, so I may as well run Black Hat. I might as well hack all the equipment, see if I can pick up a few kills with those. So, but then, like I said again, it's personal preference for equipment really. I mean, whatever you feel comfortable with. But if you're running engineer, you kind of really want to run black hat. You know, a lot of people use equipment on these types of game modes like demo and stuff like that, and search. So it's something you definitely want to, you know, pay attention to. And we obviously have a wild card, as we have 3 attachments. The 3 attachments, obviously I said at the start, having these 3 attachments are going to be a bit of a pain. Obviously you don't have a secondary, all I have is a combat knife, which then you kind of have to sacrifice these things if you want to have this weapon at its best. So obviously if I'm sacrificing my secondary and I don't have scavenger, then obviously it's going to be a little harder to, you know, play well. But if you play sensible and, you know, stick to the edges of the map, you don't run out into the middle of the battlefield, then you're going to be okay. You can pick up weapons from dead bodies that you've killed on the way around. You know, there's always that option that leaves that space open for you having the combat knife. Obviously if you don't have a secondary, then it's going to be, you know, a lot harder to get kills with the knife. If you want to try and do that, if you want to do that, then that's more than fine. If that's up to you, if that's your style thing. You know, Black Ops changed the knifing system quite a lot, so it's pretty hard to get these kills sometimes with the knife. But you know, if you play sensible, stick to the map edges, and it's should be pretty good for you. So basically, this is the class that I've picked for the Mtar. If you have any suggestions on how it improves, then, you know, how to improve it even more, then let me know. But this, I've used it. I used this gun for a couple of days, trying to figure out what is the best attachment for, and these are the ones I come up with. This is how I think it works really effectively. And, you know, you stay off the radar. You're pretty much a silent guy. You know, you can just do anything you want. So finally, we are going to talk about some of the Mtar stats, basically. For a normal mag, it's 30 rounds. If you wanted to have an extended mag, it'll be 40. Not that much difference, but I suppose that could be the difference between, you know, 2 or 3 kills. But it has 720 rounds per minute. That's its rate of fire, which is, you know, pretty. It's kind of slow, but it's all right. It's pretty good for an assault rifle. It takes about 3 to 5 bullets to get a kill. Obviously, depending on where you hit the person. Obviously, you want to be hitting them probably torso to head. You don't really want to go for the leg, even though, you know, leg shots on this game are pretty much like headshots. But it's, you know, still pretty standard for an assault rifle. Aim down sights is 0.25 seconds, which is pretty good for this. If you know, if that's the sort of thing. If you got laser sight on like we have on this class, then it's not going to be much of a problem if you hip firing. And if you already got your sights up ready for the gunfight, then, you know, it's not really going to matter that much. Reload speed. Basically, if you reload whilst you still have bullets left in your mag, the reload speed will be 2.49 seconds. Whereas if you reload with an empty mag, it's going to take you to 2.97, which is a little bit extra that you probably don't want to give yourself and give the enemy time to shoot you. So if you can, try and reload whilst you still have some bullets left in. I tend to just reload after every kill. As you can see there, that was kind of a fail, but that is the way I play. It kind of cuts down the reload speeds and then gives you more time to get those kills in. The knife speed with this weapon is 1.2 seconds, which, you know, isn't great, but isn't too shabby either. Especially if you know, I don't see anybody wanting to go on a knifing rampage with the Mtar on. But if that's what you want to do, then, you know, that's up to you. So yeah, that is pretty much my video on the Mtar. This is basically how I see it playing. If you have any suggestions on how maybe you think that other equipment or attachments or perks work better with this, then let me know. But this is my personal opinion at the end of the day, and this really works well for me, and I personally think that it'll work well for others. So make sure you try this out and let me know how you get on with it. Peace.
to expire. Step up.
Come on, get up.
Gun down. Cover me.
Sticky out.
UAV inbound.